Hello and welcome back to the 11th episode of Dark Souls. I'm your host Spirit Balance Holder, and last time we got our asses whooped by the giant. And that is not very surprising because that is a disadvantage of going on a dexterity build against the giant, being, I believe, the only one that is so very tanky against the slash damage from our weapons. But luckily, it isn't too hard to get back to the boss fight. The arena itself is, well, I wouldn't want to call it a pleasant thing, but the arena is small, so it's easy to get a bloodstain back. Um, and this time we will, well, not specifically this time, but this episode we will beat him. I just don't know how yet, but we will beat him. So, generally, if you can, you always want to try and use a more strength-based weapon against him. Something that is very powerful against defenses, such as his. But we, with our current build, do not have that. Being very much oriented around that slash damage. Bait his attack, get out of range, and throw a spear. There we go. Oh dear. I didn't want to start off like that. Oh, get out of here! Alright. Alright. Whew. Now this is the easiest because I think it would be best indeed to not lock onto him, but it also makes it harder for me to read his movements. Oh, he's been staggered. We do enough damage in a short time, and he falls to the ground. That makes him, well, it doesn't make him an easy opponent, but it gives you an opening that in most other bosses is not applicable. And this can happen multiple times during his boss fight, if you are doing well enough. Oh dear! Ah, to heal up again. Thank God that he did not attack us there. He could have. Oh, oops. Now the thrust strike of the Uchigatana is somewhat effective against him because it deals thrust damage rather than slash damage. But the thrust damage obviously is a thrusting attack and thus is relatively hard to aim. There we go. Haha. Now let's give him a few bolts. That's one. That's two. And that's three. And he's dead. Core of an iron golem. There we go. Didn't I promise you guys? This would be the one. Alright. That's it. And all we get for now is this little marker here. I'm not sure why they chose a marker, but let's just walk over. Examine Ring of Light. He goes looking at it, a bit confused, but suddenly these guys appear. And now we enter Anor Londo. The City of Sunlight. here we are dropped off. Quite a sight, is it not? Quite a sight indeed. Much more pleasant and hospitable looking, at least, than all our previous locations. But don't mistake it. This is not a pleasant place to be. Despite these guys actually being not hostile right away. They will not attack you if you're just nearby. Neither will those guys. But if you approach them too closely, or if you try to grab the treasure that's behind them, which we will try to do, then be warned, because they will attack you. But for now, go to here, the bonfire. Pardon? Along with a nice NPC. But let's first level up. Get my vitality up to 15. I think that would be nice. 16. Almost rounding it down to 700 HP. That is rather nice. Do we want that? Do we want that? I'll do 15 vitality for now, and I'll do another point on dexterity. There we go. Now let's see what she's got to say.
Well, you are a rare visitor. Welcome to the lost city of Anor, Londo, chosen undead. If you seek Lord Gwyn's old keep, exit here and head straight yonder. If you are the chosen one, a revelation shall visit thee. What follows thereafter depends upon you.
Now, she is a firekeeper, so she can reinforce her Estus flask. But we currently do not have any firekeeper souls.
What is it? What am I? Well, I am the keeper of the bonfire. If not for me, what beacon would there be in this lost city? A gatekeeper and a guide. That is my calling. The bonfires attended by the keepers are special. They are linked to one another, and their flames never die. Yet never shall the keepers of these flames meet. If you require rest, now is the time. That is, after all, what the bonfire is for. If you require rest...
Yes, that's all she has to say. But she's the firekeeper, obviously, and she is the first NPC you will meet. Yes, just the first NPC you will meet when entering Anor Londo. You will not want to forget to visit that bonfire. Might look a bit frightening, that path off to the side leading downwards a bit, but it's completely safe. So now, let's get the treasure that's behind these big guys. Oh dear, we've accidentally triggered them both. They are a bit reminiscent of the Iron Golem, really. But I will not act hastily. Those great shields of theirs block all damage. Truly all damage. But you can't strike overhead over through them. Oh dear. They have a guard, a post they will try to return to or stay near, but it's sometimes a bit hard to guess where they will start walking back once you bait them forward. So, work with me, buddy. Here we go, nice slash along the back. Ooh! Didn't manage to dodge that in time because of the guy behind also attacked. But generally you want to do these guys one at a time. They can be done both at the same time, but it is definitely quite tough. Even a high level player will still find that they're quite a handful if you fight them both at the same time. Because of their high damage, being very sturdy and having a front that is very well protected. So just carefully approach and watch for one of them to twitch and start moving towards you. Be very careful about it. Maybe even work a bit more to the side. There you go. Now only one of them is triggered. And now we have quite a significant area where we can fight them one-on-one. Which is definitely a much more preferable situation. Oh dear. Be careful for that shield, it is quite powerful, quite dangerous. Do not want to get hit by it. Arguably their shields are more dangerous and more intimidating than their halberds really are. That's what I mean. They do so much stamina damage. It was actually very lucky that we were able to negate it all. There you go, one of them down. And we get 1500 souls for it, which is quite significant. Now let's see if we can do the other one with the scythe. Instead of the Uchi. Now the scythe has a unique trait that is actually somewhat useful against them. And that's the fact that it is a very great arc around which it strikes, meaning that we can actually hit around their shield with it. Again, watch the chain, normal chest, and demon titanite. A pleasant thing indeed. If you get adept enough at fighting these guys and get comfortable enough in your build and everything, then you might actually want to consider farming these guys, because they yield a lot of souls despite being so very hard to defeat. It would actually be quite profitable. So let's heal up just to be safe. And walk on over. Maybe we can actually hit them with a lightning spear before we have to engage them in battle. Hit one from the side if I can. There you go. Making the fight itself also a bit easier. Don't try to hit them on the shield though, because though most shields would not negate all damage, these shields you can consider walls. They are completely pointless to hit on. Nothing will get through. Walking through their legs is always an easy tactic if you want to avoid their shield smash, if you actually can manage to do so. Alright. Now again, despite these guys being very heavily armored and everything, even they are a lot more susceptible to the slash damage from like the scythe and everything. More so than the Iron Golem was. That definitely suggests at least that there is actually a flesh being inside of those suits of armor. Normal chest. And that is why the slash damage does such significant damage. And here we can see again a mimic. So what do? We slash, we slash, we slash, and we slash. There we go. And he drops a crystal halberd. And the crystal halberd is a crystal weapon, obviously. But what does a crystal weapon really mean? Well, let's take a look at it. It does a lot more damage than the regular. And that is not so very much surprising because the crystal weapon actually means that it is past level 10. Just like a lightning weapon, it means that it was level 10 and then was ascended to crystal. So obviously it would do a lot more damage. But this one does even more damage. And not only that, there is something very peculiar about it. It only has 20 durability, whereas the normal helmet has 200. Now crystal weapons are not weapons you like to use, at least I don't. You cannot repair them. They are basically like expendable weapons that can deal out a whole lot of damage, but they will break. There is no way to save them once, oh dear, once a weapon has been made into a crystal weapon. Gosh darn, I was, see, that's because I locked on, see, that's because I locked on. But once a weapon has been turned into a crystal weapon, you cannot repair it. The only way to repair it is to upgrade it. And obviously upgrading is finite. So eventually you will lose it. You'll lose the weapon. There's nothing you can do about it. I believe that even the repair spell does not work on it, though that I am not entirely sure of. Ooh dear, that was lucky. Though we still took a little bit of damage. Oops. There you go. So I just want to show you guys what lies beyond this guy. Because we know that this is a side path from Anor Londo itself. But what actually is over here? There you can see another golden fog wall. And a golden fog wall means only one thing. We need to do something in the story before we can continue. In other words, we need to go to Anor Londo itself. And that is not an easy thing to do. Though for some it might be a joy. In fact, I might be very glad to do it right now. Because of a specific item I might be able to obtain thanks to it. This is an elevator that will trigger the moment you step on it. Only the first time though, after that it just keeps going up and down. Just like the other elevators. But here we see an old friend of ours. He is a bell gargoyle. In each and every way he is. You can even cut off his tail. If you didn't have that chance before, you can now try again. He's a bit stronger. Not much, but a bit. Oh dear. Ah. But yeah. They're not too hard to defeat anymore at this point. There you go. And there we have it, the Gargoyle Helm. The Gargoyle Helm, I am very glad about. It is a personal favorite of mine. Because if you look at the Elite Knight's helmet, it has 19, 9, 10, 7. It's not very great. And most hoods are somewhat like that. Gold hemmed black hood being somewhat of an oddball in that sense. But most of them are very strange. And there you have the gargoyle helmet being 15, a stable 15 all around, and very durable. And it gives the same amount of poise as the helmet we have now. Not only that, but it is also lighter. So we can wear it right now. And this, well, this is not unpleasant to look at. It's a bit funny. But this helmet is a great favorite of mine. I generally prefer to wear it over most other helmets until I obtain a specific one, which is actually somewhat random based, so we might not see it in this playthrough, but oh well. Normal chest. Again, Demon Titanite, always welcome. Any Titanite is always welcome. And from here it would seem that we would be stuck. And I'll show you what I mean by that. If you now walk over to here where we fought the gargoyle, you can see over there a grand staircase like structure. So we just have to jump onto it, right? Well, that ain't going to happen. The fall is a bit too deep for that, and the range a bit too long. So we can't go over there. What the heck are we supposed to do now? Well, again, only in Dark Souls would this ever occur. And you can already see it over there. Here, indeed. Because you need to walk over the roof, over this thingy here. No other game I've seen doing this. I mean, I've seen players making maps that would do this, but never have I seen an official developer design something like this. Roll over to here. And from here you can go through the window. And they said be wary of trap because of these guys. There are a few of them around here. They aren't too threatening. Oh dear. But they do throw throwing knives. There we go. And we have a ladder here now. So let's climb up to it. And let's see the massive troll developers have put on us. There you go. Yep. We have to walk across these beams to the other side of the room. Not falling off, because any fall will probably be instant death. And whilst up here, we need to fight more of these guardians. It is very, very unpleasant indeed. So be sure, you really, really need a good shield for this area. I cannot imagine someone going through here without having a proper shield because of this. Now, these guys themselves, luckily, they tend to screw up sometimes and just jump down into the hole. And even if they don't, you can kick them. But those throwing knives, boy oh boy. Heck, just the prospect itself of fighting enemies while walking across these beams. That was very, very scary to me the first time. There's a little secret. Be wary of jumping. Well, that's not exactly what you should be doing here anyway. You should be striking. And there you go. Chandelier falls down to the ground. Because on the chandelier was an item. I've been trying to figure out for a long time how to get that item, but simply need to strike the cord of the chandelier. And the chandelier itself will fall down to the ground. Now he will keep throwing a few, but eventually he will come and try to attack us in melee. It seems that most enemies in the game have a sense of ammo in the game. There you go. Fell down. If you lock onto them, be sure to try and move around as little as possible, because you've seen with the Iron Golem what it can do if you move around. Just imagine what it will do if such small movements can already result. So devastating. There you go. To his death. So you can get lucky. You might have to kick them off. You might have to just straight up kill them, trying to move around as little as possible. But apart from being really, really intimidating, it's quite alright. It's alright. Just keep your head cool. Try to keep moving forward. Step by step. Calmly and concisely. And I'm not sure if there was anything over here. Nope. Nope, there's nothing over here. I actually dropped something down there. But well, actually we can go there. Now we can't go there. Because when we go through this fog gate, we now have access to the grand staircase here. There's another gargoyle there. Be sure to already spot him. Because he cannot reach us now. But we will need to go down. And then he will be able to reach us. The first time they show you this little cinematic. And now you have effectively formed a bridge between one side and the other. And the gargoyle is now eager for a fight. So, let's give it to him. Oops. Still quite aggressive. Not something to be underestimated. And just for funsies, we cut off his tail. And there's one more item you can get from the gargoyles. And that is their little shield. Don't underestimate it, it has a very unique property. We actually get it now. Yes, we do. I will show you what its unique property is. It has a 70% damage reduction against lightning damage. And a very firm fire protection as well. So this is a nice weapon if you need elemental protection. Not a shield that you should underestimate. Quite nice indeed. We'll go down now. And here we'll enter the same building again. But now on the ground floor. A much more pleasant place, if you ask me. Ooh, already one triggered. Now there are a lot of them here. And you see that damage? That is the reason why these guys as well, you want to lure out one by one. You will get a lot of free throwing knives here though, which is nice. But be careful, be sure to keep any enemy that is actually attacking you in sight at all times. Because if you let them out of your sight and let them actually attack you from multiple directions, there's a fair chance you will take more damage than you care to lose. There you go. And here we get another 2 throwing knives. Oop! I didn't see you coming there. There we go. Just keep clearing them out. Now we go for a 3v1. bit more of a dangerous situation, as you saw. So we'll heal with Estus this time. There we go. Again, that shows off very nicely the range of the scythe. Even when rolling away, they still got caught by a strike. There you go. Sorcery, great magic weapon. Definitely a nice one. Again, I'm not a sorcerer myself, but if you are a sorcerer and like using melee weapons at the same time, it is a must-have. Here we get the black iron set, including the greatsword and the black iron great shield. It is quite a cool set to see indeed. And it is very heavy, very protective as well, giving a good amount of poise. Stone armor is still better, but if you look at the gauntlets, for example, excellent defenses. Stone gauntlets still better, but especially if you want to cosplay, it is very nice. And there you see something unique. Now I cannot interact with it. I must not interact with it yet, because it will trigger something very specific. But this is a great painting, and once we examine it, something quite peculiar will happen. But we must do that later, not now. Be sure to not interact with it if you've been back to the asylum. At least not the first time. If you interact with it after you've been to the asylum and been back to your own cell and picked up the item that was there, you will be transported to another world. And you don't want to be there too low level. Especially if you do not have the Lord Vessel. Be sure to go and get the Lord Vessel first. And to get the Lord Vessel is basically just to clear out Anor Londo itself. So the gates itself are shut, we can't get through. There's a side path over there, but we can't get through that either. So we are forced to use the side path on the other side. These guys will attack you. You can choose to ignore them. There's not much to gain from fighting them except the souls. And they will generally not reach out all that far. Sometimes they reach out a bit farther than usual though. But even so, no need to go and kill both of them. If you just want to get going with the storyline. Alright. There we go. Just because he was annoying me. In this area I am not glad with. Because this is the area I got stuck with on my last character. For a short time. Not too long, but yeah. In general, getting stuck somewhere in Dark Souls is not a pleasant feeling. A boss that beats you a couple of times over, that's alright. An area that has a few tricks and traps that are very annoying. Well, eventually you'll deal with it. But this was not because I lacked the knowledge about the situation. The reason I got stuck here was not because I did not have the skill. Well, actually it probably was because I did not have the skill to properly get by. They have wings and yet they fall off the ground. Quite funny indeed. And what you need to do is go down here. Try being to the bulb, yeah. Hope ahead. There you saw it. There you already... Well, actually you barely saw it. I barely saw it. Beware of lying in an ambush. Indeed, there are two of these guys. But you can easily stump them on the ornaments here. Because they will not be able to move any closer to you because of them. Quite an ironic thing indeed. And with a little bit of luck, you can strike at them from a safe distance, from a safe angle. Try not to use lightning weapons against them because they are lightning resistant. That's all I will recommend about that. And if you have a shield, do note that their damage will carry through a bit because they themselves deal magic damage. This is a rare occurrence. It is rare that the demon spear drops. It was actually an item you could also buy from Shiva. So I had to look up his name there for a moment. But the demon spear does does lightning damage along with normal physical damage. It is a spear type weapon, has decent scaling. In general, it is a very interesting weapon and something you might want to use indeed. If you are a bit more of a balanced character, it is very nice. And now to show you what I got stuck on, and will probably, perhaps, get stuck on again. And having a proper defense here or proper poise will probably not matter too much. Because I'm likely prone to dying regardless. But maybe just to see if it matters. Oh dear. Let's not. Well, you can already see those are not just normal arrows, those are not just normal bolts. The weapon they use is actually, oh dear, is actually a Dragon Slayer bow. And yes, you can acquire it yourself. But it is a freaking Dragon Slayer bow. It staggers you like crazy. It can push you off this thing. And there are two of them shooting at you at the same time. And that is not even the worst. So it is quite a drag to get through here. And you can run up here. There we go. Running up here. And don't bother with the other one. Only bother with this one for now. And be sure to be careful. Now he entered melee mode and that I'm very glad about. These look like Dark Knights, don't they? These are actually the Silver Knights. Oh dear! Hitting me in the back. Probably not going to survive, no. And you know what's the worst part? These guys respawn. So if you kill them and you die yourself by accident, you can go and do it all over again. It is, according to me, the most fucked up, horrendous, bloody fucking place in the entire fucking game. No joke. Every other place in this game has a way that you can relatively easily overcome it if you know how and have a bit of luck. But these guys, man, do I hate them. It is appalling. At least we get 10 Estus flasks back. But now we have to do it all over again. Meaning we have to go through the demons again. Meaning we have to go and run up that entire beam again. Meaning we have to go and try and approach them again. And even when we get close, we will be bombarded from both sides. And pardon, I really. This area is what I got stuck on last time. I might eventually skip this, depending on how long it is going to take. I might cut this episode short, not bother you with it any further, and actually just get past it at some point, and just not record until I actually get past it. Ah, gosh darn! I hope to get him in that swing. Oh, oops. Luckily they don't do too much damage themselves. Ah. There you go. Now, you might be wondering why I am still wearing this armor. Because obviously, just having a lot of poise is not going to be the solution. I mean, I have 87 now. Even that is simply not solving my problem right now. Well, reason mostly is because using more speed is not going to help you either. Mostly it just improves your roll speed and your stamina recovery. But neither of those things are our primary issue when trying to approach these guys. Is there anything we can use? Might make this a little bit easier. Anything at all. One blessing. Nope. Nope, there is not. So let's just get running. And obviously, one of the issues as well is that you have to keep a certain pace in this entire thing. Because if you go too slow... Well, yeah. Oh dear. Oh, shite. They are quite substantial in their hits as well, and I don't believe you can kick them off. So I hope that he will fall off on his own accord, but I somehow doubt it. I am somewhat forced back a bit down here. Alright, now maybe I can fight him here actually. Just maybe I can. If I'm lucky. Because here the other guy... Ooh, can't hit me. Oh, crap. Just hit him and don't fall off, don't fall off, don't fall off. Thank you. Now pray. Come on. Gosh darn it, why did you have to? Yes! Oh, thank God. Oh gosh, thank you. Thank you so much. Finally. I have seriously, on my previous character, tried over 7 times to get past him. Never did I succeed. So I'm very glad that this time it actually worked out. And here's an old friend of ours, sitting around the bonfire. But let's first use the bonfire. Let's first sit down. Because that means definitively that this is the place we're gonna come back to. Hello, Slayer. What are you doing here? No, not you. No, not you. Why? Okay, there we go.
Oh, there you are. You've been quiet these days. Smooth summoning out there. Anytime you see my brilliantly shining signature, do not hesitate to call upon me. You've left me with quite an impression. I would relish a chance to assist you.
It almost
You
sounds
really
like
are
flirting.
chatting with me, aren't you? If I didn't know better, I'd think you had feelings for me. Oh no, dear me, pretend you didn't hear that.
He's a very cheerful guy indeed. But there is, as with all characters in this game, something grim that is probably going to happen to him. Kirstone.
You really are fond of it.
Yeah. Well, he just sits around here, and for now that is really all. What can we level up? We can level up some dexterity. Yes, that will kick our weapon damage of our scythe to over 300. That's quite nice indeed. Actually, did we have enough? I believe we didn't, but just double check. Ooh, that is only a very small gap indeed. And we can use a soul to kick ourselves past. Level up, and we'll spend it on vitality this time. There we go. Phew! Now we get to fight the knights. And these knights are, well, you saw them on up there of course, but they're not all that hard. They're not all that horrendous. In fact, I've at some point learned to parry them, because I used to grind them for a while. And you get 1,000 souls per killing one, so that's quite nice. Sunlight medals, 3 of them. Over here, another knight. And I actually want their shield as well, because their shield is better even than the Black Knight shield. There we go. Doesn't it open from this side? Right, we need to take quite a detour. But let's first look over here. Empty room, seemingly, right? Well, that looks somewhat suspicious. And that opens a secret passage. So over here. Can go down the stairs. It's a bit dark here. Don't worry too much about that. But keep your eyes open. And we have chests here. So these 2 are normal chests. And what do we get? We get Havel's set. Oh yes. We get Havel's armor. So these 2 are normal as well. The shield. And of course, the dragon tooth. Quite impressive. And this, here's a mimic. So be sure to do what we always do with mimics and other monsters. And make sure that he dies. Don't get grabbed. You do not want to get grabbed by him. There we go. And he drops an occult club. And that I am very glad about indeed. I'm not sure if the occult did still have item scaling. It does have some item scaling. It scales with faith and it scales with strength. Now the occult club does magic damage and it obviously deals occult damage. That is somewhat unique. Because the occult club does increase damage against certain targets because of that. Let's take a look at Havel's set, shall we? It is heavier and bigger than the stone armor, but it again gives a bit more protection. Especially the gauntlets and such are indeed very, very heavy and very sturdy. I'm not sure, does it give more poise? It does actually give more poise. So it is something quite a nice item to have, really. It also gives a firm amount of curse resistance, I see. You might always, if you like the Havel set, just like with the stone set, you can also just wear specific parts of it. Make that, make just parts of the armor incorporated in your set. Because in the end it does not matter if you have a whole set or not of the same items. And that I'm very glad about. But on the other hand, I would like to see some sort of bonus if you actually wear the whole set. It just sounds like it should to me. Hello, Mr. Knight. You have a spear, and I dislike the spear guys. I prefer the sword guys. Those are a little bit easier to parry. But even so, the spear guys I can also manage. And down there we have somehow a breathing demon statue. A headless statue. And we can kick his ass in a bit. Well, in a bit. Another mimic. Oops. I thought that one would hit. It's sometimes a bit hard to accurately assess the distance. There we go. And he drops 5 silver coins. Remember what the copper coin gave us? Well, now we also have silver coins. And another mimic. Come on, buddy. Give me an opening. There we go. And this guy drops a gold coin. So we have silver coins, we have gold coin, and we had we already gave a copper coin. So I'm sure that from these items we'll get quite a nice amount of souls. Be sure to take out this guy first. He again uses one of those Dragon Slayer bows. But luckily, in this situation you have plenty of space to move around. There's really no issue to avoid his shots. Get pretty close. Your shield should easily tank those attacks. Because despite being such gigantic and powerful weapons, they still do relatively light damage against your stamina. Oops. There we go. Nothing dropped. It's a shame. And you get a little bit of extra souls from them if they actually used a Dragon Slayer bow. Nice look from here. Great vision indeed. Now we need to go and basically clear out this entire building before we can actually continue. So let's get to it. This door won't open from this side. At least not yet. And this area is still empty. Oh, here's a nice looking gal. And in fact, we will meet her in just a bit. Okay. I do believe I had my shield up then, but oh well. There we go. Taken out. Go up the stairs. This place again is a little bit less pleasant because we have a knight over there, we have a knight over there. So if you do not want to fight a silver knight whilst being attacked by those arrows, be sure to keep your distance. I was hoping to backstab him, but oh well. Come on, buddy. Well, close enough. Ouch! That I do not like. Come on, buddy. Attack. I'll heal up. Hold my shield up again. Run around! I want to backstab you! Thank you! That's what I've been trying this whole time. Because I did not feel comfortable in trying to parry you right now. Oh well. We can go down here. Fatty Head is indeed accurate. Charmer Head is also accurate because here we are. Siegmeyer.
Whatever can be done.
He actually made it all the way to Anor Londo, just like us.
Ah, you again. Let me guess. Were you repelled by the Silver Knights? Ah, don't be ashamed. 'Tis the fate of vanguards like you and I. I'll think of something. We can overcome this together. This is quite... We'll need another 3, no, maybe 5 bodies. Quite a fix indeed.
So he is pondering about what can be done to get out of here. And you might be wondering, well, what's the issue? Just open this door and walk out. Well, there's a Silver Knight. There's a Silver Knight. There's a Silver Knight. And there's a Silver Knight. So there's 3 of them. Right in this small area. So you want to be careful. Be sure to learn how to parry them if you want to have an easy time beating them. Because you do not want to fight them 3-on-1. Be sure to be very careful in moving forward. This is the lesser of the least favorite angle you want to come from. Perhaps clear the area a bit so you can calmly move through. Because now you have the space to carefully approach them. Trigger one of them. And parry them. There we go. Now their attacks are somewhat predictable. Their pacing is very consistent, so that's why they are actually somewhat of an easier enemy to learn how to parry. Even so, you will need to practice a bit. But it's not too hard to start seeing their movements accurately and start predicting when to parry. There you have a nice picture of the giants, the sentinels. Get a demon titanite, and we open this door. But yeah, the Silver Knights are quite nice enemies, I would say. They are certainly a nice challenging enemy with whom you can properly spar, with whom you can properly test out your weapons and such. They put up a nice fight, and yet even if you get into trouble, you can learn to properly parry them. Heck, I've at times beaten one with only my bare fists, so just to put that into perspective.
Oh ho! What's on your mind, friend? Wait. You defeated those monsters? Fantastic! I'm saved! This Knight of Katarina hereby commends you. Take this as a token of my gratitude.
A tiny being's ring.
But be warned. Gallantry entails great risks. Next time, give me a chance to come up with a plan.
So he's obviously thankful, but you can also hear that there's a tad bit of disappointment in his voice. Especially around the end, because he realized at that point that the challenge that was laid before him was already solved by someone else. And that is not his way. That is not something that he all that much enjoys. Mountain dragon heads. Quite ugly ones, I must admit. Even though I do love dragons. But yeah. It is quite a sad thing indeed, because we have helped him, but in helping with him, we've also pushed him a bit closer to his own demise. As will become apparent a bit later in the game. Hello there, Alright, let's see if we can parry you. There you go. Taken out. And again drops nothing. That's a bit of a shame. They can drop... I don't believe they can drop the bow actually, but they can drop the arrows. Dead end ahead, indeed. There's nothing over there for as far as I know. Same goes for the other side. I believe at least. Yeah. So don't bother with those. Just go down the stairs here then. And in here we have that statue whom will quickly try and attack us if we go too near. And here you should want to go first. There is only one knight, a spear knight. Oh wait, no, there are two knights actually. One that approaches you rapidly. I forgot about that. Be careful with their sweeping strike. That one can be hard to time. Its timing is a little bit different from their other attacks, so it can easily put you off. This guy only protects those two chests. So let's open the door first. Because that's priority, that gives us a shortcut entrance to here. And then we can fight him. Be mindful of them always being in 3 strikes. There we go. Cheesed a little bit of a backstab. And here we get the Silver Knight set. A very beautiful set, I would say. But probably not the most suitable one in our case. They give nice all-round protection, but they are also somewhat lighter. Silver Knight, there's a weight of 5, which is somewhat greater. What is actually our current usage? We can use 2 more, 2 points extra of weight we can take on ourselves. Silver Knight's leggings is just out of reach. It's 3 points. The gloves is also out of reach. The helmet, we probably do not want to switch out actually. So this will be it, even so. Alright. And now we can go back to the bonfire because we're back to the quote-unquote ground floor. And we can level up. Just by clearing this entire area we already gained enough souls for another level. That's quite nice. We actually upgrade our endurance, we might be able to just... Oops, that was not my intention. But figuring, I should actually also kindle this bonfire. So let's go human for now. You'll see a couple of symbols on the ground. Let's kindle the bonfire. And the only disadvantage, of course, is that we now have to use a few humanity. Hopefully we don't get invaded while we're here. It's not the biggest of deals, but it would be a bit of an annoyance. Now he does have a beautiful sword. He wields the signature... Wait. Both those symbols disappeared just now, right? They did. Oh wait, there's... But that disappeared as well. Always be wary if symbols disappear. Because if the symbols disappear, it can mean 2 things. Or the player that placed it lost connection. It could be that they simply removed it. Or, see now they popped back up again. Or it can actually mean that you're about to be invaded. Because I believe that during those times... You cannot summon help. But either way, this has been it for this episode. We've been going for an hour. Next time we will be fighting off against the bosses of this area. And oh dear. What did I tell you? Oh, oh boy. That is actually quite strange. Well, I guess then this has been it for now then. Well, this has been the 10th episode of Dark Souls, and I wish you all a very nice day, I guess. Bye.